Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. Okay, so here we are, 48 hours after the war started in the Middle East. And what have we learned from it? Specifically, what have you and I learned from it? All right, now the facts are starting to come out as to how this was all done. People are questioning what happened to the Iron Dome, et cetera, et cetera. But how did Hamas manage to pull this off, and what's going on? Let's start here, okay? First off, what we can learn. Again, this is what I want to talk about. As of the most recent official numbers, there have been approximately 700 people killed in Israel, mostly civilians. Okay? Now, Israel has a population of about 9.3 million people. If you extrapolate that population out, that percentage of how many were killed versus the population, onto the United States, where we have approximately 333 million people, that would mean a similar attack in the United States would have killed about 24,000 people. And you wonder why they're calling it their 9/11. We only had 3,000 people die in 9/11. This is 8 times more based on a percentage of people in the country. Give you an idea. So what happened? Okay, simple. How did they manage to pull this off? Was it, what happened to Israel's Iron Dome? What happened to their elite military, right? Contrary to what Joe Biden says, you don't need F-15s and tanks to take on a government. This is how this was all done. Hamas attacked with about 1,000 soldiers. That was it, okay? And current, again, official numbers say that about 400 Hamas are dead from the Israeli response, okay? However, most of the people that Israel has killed are rear echelon people who are back in Gaza. So these soldiers are still roaming the streets of Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, pick anywhere on the southern border, near Gaza, whatever. That is what's going on. How did they get in? I mean, you're talking about the most elite military in the Middle East, right? Yeah, this is what we need to learn. Okay. The infiltrators, let's use that, the soldiers, the terrorists, okay, were already pre-positioned in Israel, some of them at least. They were dressed as police officers. They were dressed as and had permits to, get this, be construction workers in Israel, to be agricultural workers in Israel, or to be service employees, okay, whether that be, baristas or street vendors, who knows. Okay. But they were there taking the menial labor jobs. Okay. Does this sound familiar at all? All right. How did the elite troops come in? Well, the Israeli military was spread a little bit thin because there was a diversion tactic to the north where the Palestinians were putting on a minor uprising. The Palestinians kept this really quiet. Hamas kept this really quiet as to what they were doing over the last couple of months in preparation. This didn't just happen in one day. Okay, it's pretty much started happening as soon as the preparation started happening as soon as Joe gave Iran $6 billion. Okay. So what did they do? These are the tanks and F-15s they used. They used bulldozers, hang gliders, and motorbikes to get in. Okay? Now, personally, I don't know how to hang glide. I have no intention to ever learn. But I'm betting there's a lot of people that know how to use a bulldozer or ride a motorcycle. Okay? Those were the great tools that they used. Now, let's use another comparison. Israel is a gun-free zone. Just giving you that, okay? Nobody can get weaponry. In the United States, it's a little easier to get a weapon. for good guys and bad guys. So those construction workers, agricultural workers, service employees, guys dressed as cops, it was more difficult for them to get a weapon than it is in the United States. However, they managed. So if it's difficult and you can do it, you think where it's easy you can do it? Not a problem. Okay. To give you an idea how brutal this is, because obviously nobody on social media can show the videos that are being recorded, whether it's TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or anything like that, because, of course, the social media will censor those like crazy. But I can give you the quotes, all right? There's one lady talking about her grandmother. Her quote, "At 7 a.m., I saw the nightmare of my life. A terrorist broke into her home, murdered her, took her phone, photographed the horror, and posted it on her Facebook account. That's how we found out." So I guess the terrorists can post stuff like that on Facebook. Well, you and I would get, put in Facebook jail for posting anything talking about, I don't know, pick something. Okay. Another one about a woman talking about being in her home with her husband, her kids, and her husband's business partner. Okay. Terrorist walked in, killed her husband, killed her husband's business partner, and then, as she put it, the terrorist covered them in a blanket, took lipstick and wrote on the wall, "The Al-Qassam people don't murder children." Oh, okay. But we just murder civilians. That's fine. No problem. Okay. Heathens. Okay. Barbarians. People not worthy of taking another breath. Yeah. Al-Qassam. This is one that you may want to listen to, because this is the mentality here in the United States. A mother was looking for her daughter, and her quote, "Nobody is helping us. Where is the government? I beg the whole country, help me find my daughter. Benjamin Netanyahu, I'm begging you, send helicopters, find her. I beg you, please." Where is the government? Let me ask this. When all hell breaks loose in the United States, where the hell do you think our government's going to be? They're going to be hiding in a bunker somewhere, tail between their legs, cowering in fear, going, "I don't know what to do." Okay. Just the fact that the people there are asking, "Where's the government?" tells you a lot. Okay. Sure, Israel's responding, but you don't have an instant response. When somebody's dressed as a police officer, when somebody's dressed as a construction worker or an agricultural worker or a street vendor or a barista or whatever, and all of a sudden the little signal on their cell phone or whatever goes off and goes, "It's go time," the military isn't standing right next to him. So the guy in the cop turns around and just sprays a volley at a crowd of people. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, in the 2 seconds that it takes to do that, how fast do you think the military is going to respond? They're not there, okay? Gee, we have to get there. And of course, there's all the red tape and whatever. Gee, somebody's dressed as a cop. You're, "Police, police, please help." Poof. Guy wasn't a real cop. Okay. This is what we need to take a look at. Let's go through what we've all talked about. Okay, anybody with a brain has realized what's going on in the last couple of years in the United States, the southern border. Let's compare. Okay, how many stories, how many people have you heard? How many times has it been mentioned that the people coming across the border are military-aged males? Right? What do you think Hamas was sending into Israel? Do you think they were sending a bunch of 12-year-olds and a bunch of pregnant women and a bunch of grandmothers? No. Military-aged males. Okay. What's coming across our southern border? Oh, I don't know. Pretty much the same thing. And whether they're Chinese or African or South American or Mexican or Haitian. Please tell me which one of those countries likes the United States, especially under Joe Biden. That would be none of them. Okay. China. China loves our money. They hate our people. Okay. Haiti. There we go. That's the name of the damn country. Yeah. How supportive are they of the United States? They like our money, but after Hillary Clinton's debacle, after the earthquake a few years back, Haiti's not exactly our friend. And the Haitians, no. Okay. Because the drug cartels love America so much. They love our money. They don't care for our people. The El Salvadorans, the Guatemalans, the Venezuelans, they're flying their countries. They're coming to the United States and flying the Venezuelan flag in the U.S. Okay. Do you think they're coming here because they want to be Americans? No. They want our money. Period. That's it. Okay. Unofficial numbers say that we've got about 13 million people illegal in the United States. Roughly 3 million have come in the last 2 years under Joe Biden's tenure. Okay. So about a quarter of the illegals that are here, Joe's responsible for. If we hypothetically took out and said, of those 3 million people, 1% of them are soldiers. 1%. Okay. That would be 130,000 soldiers. If we again extrapolate the same percentage of civilians killed as what happened over the weekend in Israel, with 130,000 soldiers and not 1,000. No, guess not. We would have 3,115,000 civilians in the United States killed. Oh, but that'll never happen. These people all want to come here to work. Sure. In what responsibility, what capacity? Oh, I don't know. Would it be construction workers, agricultural, service employees? Get the point? Okay. We are being invaded on our southern border just like Israel was this weekend. It is obvious, it is in plain sight, and just like Israel, we're completely missing it. The Iron Dome didn't work. They got through with bulldozers, motorcycles, and hang gliders. How do you think they're going to do it here? Here's a classic. Israel has spent millions of dollars to make sure, for anti-tunnel technology along the border, to make sure people couldn't tunnel into Israel. Guess what they found over the weekend? A tunnel where a bunch of Hamas were coming through into Israel. Gee, how many tunnels are there coming from Mexico into the United States? More than you and I would ever imagine. It doesn't take a big military, an EMP or something, to completely attack and disrupt a country. It takes a bunch of men and a mission. What do you think we have going on here? This is why we need to learn from what's going on overseas. Because what happened over the weekend in Israel is exactly what could happen here. Lock, stock, and barrel, same game plan. And if you don't think that the cartels, the communists, the countries that hate us watched the success that Hamas had. Now, granted, there's a massive retaliation. But if you don't think they saw what the success was and said, hey, we could do the exact same thing to the United States, you're sadly mistaken. Sure, the U.S. would retaliate. But what good does retaliation do to you on a Monday morning if you're dead on a Saturday afternoon.